Helen Wood from my hometown Bolton.
Yay!
And we're going to be talking about business, careers, social media, trolls and scandals, I guess, with you, Helen.
Brilliant.
But to ease you into it, first of all, we're going to do a quick fire round. So no thinking about it. Just say what comes into your head. It's nothing too intense.
Okay.
I actually should have put more controversial ones in here with you, actually. But I'm not. Okay, so lashes or brows?
Brows.
Employed or self-employed?
Self-employed.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Selfie or candid?
What?
Selfie or candid?
Selfie, definitely.
University or work experience?
Oh, that's a bad one, that. Depends on the person. For me,
just
I can't do uni, no, so fucking hell, I wish. No. Just work experience, definitely.
Love Island or Big Brother?
Big Brother.
Night in or night out?
Night out.
Brexit or Remain?
I can't answer that because I don't understand any of it. I don't know. I don't get it.
Bolton or Dublin?
Dublin.
Perfect. That's it, Helen. Congratulations on getting through your quick fire round.
What do I get?
You got 10 out of 10. Well done. Right, okay. So what I want to touch on, first of all, then, with that is university or work experience. She was like, oh, it depends on the person.
Yeah.
What did you do?
So, one of my goals in life is, and still is, to go to university. But I have been to uni, but I only lasted 2 weeks because I just cannot sit in a room and without being disruptive. I want to annoy people. Like, if I'm in a dead quiet room and there's a board in front of me, I really, really want to learn. Like, the whole thing of, like, learning, yeah, but put me around people that are dead silent and stuff. I just want to do stupid things. So.
Is this because you're an entertainer or because you've got ADHD?
Always been a bit of it. That's what my best friend always says I've got. But no, I would love to still go. It is something that I'm going to work on doing eventually.
And what would you do at uni?
Probably something in youth work. I'm like really big on the whole working with teenagers, especially, is something that I've always wanted to work around. Teenagers with difficulties, with traumatic backgrounds and things like that. Just trying to kind of, I think there's too much pussyfooting that goes around now, and I think people that have been through their own experiences should try and channel those experiences into working with people that have had problems rather than people who have come from the perfect background and don't really know what they're talking about. I don't think teenagers can relate to people like that.
Yeah, no, I think you would be like respected amongst it because they need teenagers as well. Like, so I remember obviously when I was growing up and a teenager, I sound so old, but like the best people, so I went to Bolton Lads and Girls Club, and the best people there, like the mentors who they had there, was just common as not people who had similar experiences, so could understand.
Thanks,
like,
Michaela. I did that course.
Yeah, I can imagine you being good though. So what was you like at school? I mean, I went to, so for the listeners as well, I did go to school with Helen. But
I remember Michaela at school.
I was really nice. This is about you, not me. Say no more. She was a few years younger than me though, weren't you? So we didn't like hang about with each other or anything. But so I know a little bit about
Went
you.
to school reunion though, didn't we?
Yeah, that was a good night,
That was a good night, yeah.
And do you know what? I'd just finished filming. Oh no,
Tried robbing the burger van.
Oh God, for fuck's sake. I think I've been at The Apprentice about 2 days. It was my first drink as well, so I got absolutely hammered.
Pushing people around in wheelchairs. Anyway, yeah. No, so school was great for me. It was a massive escape mechanism for me because I had a really dry, horrible, crappy home life where, like, I've been the black sheep of my family since day dot. Like, I'm still waiting for someone to come forward and say, don't worry, Helen, we are your parents. You weren't meant to be here. You've been misplaced.
Why? Like what? What do you mean?
I've just, like, my dad's kind of like, he's, like, really bright. He's a pianist. And then my mum wasn't intelligent, but she's quite like I don't know. I say she's like sweet nature. See, she's got Alzheimer's now, so it's kind of like, can you really slag off someone that was ill? But when she wasn't ill, she wasn't like the best mum. So I'm only being honest.
Like what? Like because she was so different to you, like you didn't.
She had a really crap relationship with my dad. So they came from the stereotypical. My mum got pregnant. Damn, let's get married because we're Catholics. And then we'll carry on breeding, and then we'll just take it out on our kids, which was me usually, because my dad, for some reason, my dad was like a proper like chauvinist, narcissist, like doesn't really like women who aren't intelligent. And unfortunately for him, he was blessed with someone who doesn't really have. I haven't got the brains like academically at all, and that used to really piss him off. He was embarrassed of that. So
you always felt like you wasn't quite achieving what...
I was never achieving what I needed to, and it kind of never met his standards. Yeah. So, as a kid, everyone remembers being a kid. Like, if you feel like, being a mum, I know for a fact the one thing that works more than anything in this world is incentive. That is the best thing that I've ever done with my son, is if he does this, that and the other, if he meets his target, then, or if he does, like he dips and waves in his behaviour and whatever, if he kind of keeps up his behaviour, there's a massive incentive at the end of it. There is a prize at the end of it. Like, but when I was younger, which I think I'm speaking for like a lot of kids and stuff, I think parenting's changed as you get older. Like, there was just no point in me being good, and he enjoyed being a little shit half the time at school. So,
so is it like an attention thing? That any?
I suppose, yeah. It didn't bother me getting in trouble. Getting in trouble just didn't bother me whatsoever. Because it was always a group of us anyway. It wasn't just like me on my own. I've always had kind of like I've always had the same best friend as well. So we always got into mischief and stuff together. And
so was you really naughty, or was it just like just mischief? Or was it like quite extreme?
We did do some daft stuff, like, we were a bit bored at dinner time, so we decided to buy smees and things like that.
So extreme. That would be classed as extreme, Helen. Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
We did do some daft. We bought some ease.
I just remember we were just like, it was raining and we were like, I'm so bored. I've heard that someone's got some ease. Should we buy an E? And then we didn't want the ease, so we sold it we gave it our mate in exchange for a dinner ticket, and then she OD'd and we all got arrested.
Oh, what the fuck?
So, yeah.
I mean, your book is going to be interesting.
It is. It's like a roller coaster read, and that's what I want. I want it to... Obviously, not everyone's going to be able to relate to it, but I just can't... It's one of those, like, if you're not open-minded and you're stuck up your own ass and you're not interested in changing your opinion on someone, don't waste your $14.99, because there's no point. Like, but if you are open-minded and you like a bit of a roller coaster read, and that's what I wanted. That's why it's taken me 2 years to do it, because I had to have it right, and it's been written once. I've read it back, and I was like, is that my life? Like, can someone just put a bullet in my head now? Like, this is bad. So I've had to kind of get that balance, because as much as like some of the book sounds really, really negative, and it really is. Some of it isn't to be made light of, but then some bits, to me, like, I think people take things way too seriously, like school life and things like that. For me, like, as much as if I could have done, I'd have done a lot better. But I just don't think I'm that way inclined.
Yeah,
so and they were the best days of my life.
The school system now, though, aren't they, as well? So that people who aren't as academic, then they've got other options.
There should be give me something hands-on. Like, I don't know.
Fucking hell. For God's sake, Helen.
Sorry, right. Give me something hands-on and I'm fine.
And the Excel.
I'm great.
That's where I make my money.
5-star. But, fuck's sake.
Oh, fuck.
But, no, like...
Yeah. So you're more like, so if it was like, well, you do eyebrows, it was things like this, or construction, or hairdressing.
Like, honestly, for example, like, give me like loads of eyebrows to do, and I'm fine. And I swear to God, I must drive my clients insane. Because if they email me, or they text me or something, I can read something, and I'm like, I can't even read it. I don't even know what that says. Like,
yeah, I mean, I actually did my eyebrows about 2 months ago, and then about a month later, I was like, oh, sorry, I've just seen it.
I'm so bad for it. I'm so bad for that. Like, and I think people probably think I'm like lying but I'm like, I genuinely really struggle to, like, if an email comes through, I have to read it about 5 times for it to actually sink in. So now, like, I'm sure my clients, if they're watching this, can vouch for this. I always say, can you please send me a number and I'll give you a call? Because I'm fine on the phone, like, and I'm fine, and then I can do it. But it's just like reading, like, and things like that.
So you was at school and you just pissed about basically, and I'm guessing after you left school, what did you do then?
So, well, I got pregnant in 5th year, so I was like the perfect Catholic schoolgirl.
My best mate did actually. 2 of them did.
I
Doing
know,
their
I
GCSEs.
remember.
And we were all preggers next to us.
Yeah.
So you got pregnant in 5th
And then
year.
I went to 6th form.
Oh, did you got a 6th form?
Yeah, yeah.
Resitting or doing your A levels?
No, actually, I resat my English, but I did health and social care.
All right, okay.
But
And so how old was you when you had your son then?
16.
Oh, so you had him.
Yes, then I went to, and then I obviously turned 17 after that. You know, like you do when you're 16.
And then the next number 17, yeah.
And then I went to 6th form. Yeah, my son was like 8 weeks at the time, and then I went to 6th form doing that, and that was
And did
great.
you still live at home with your mum and dad then?
No, I went into foster care when I was just coming towards the end of year 10.
Why?
Because I just kept running away from home. I hated home life. Couldn't stand my parents. Hated my family. I was just really angry at the world. And then I went living at my friends for like 2 weeks and wasn't going to school. Like I just hibernated like this like little peasant in her bedroom. And then her mum reported me to social services. And I've actually stayed really, really good friends with the social worker that came to pick me up. She was like, Helen, so we found you a family. That you can go and stay with, for, like fostering. Oh my God, I was like, what the imagine saying this to a teenager though. Like I'm already like furious with the world. I fucking hate everyone at this point. And then she goes, she's the lady is head of maths at such and such a body school, and then the guy's the vicar. I was like, fuck off. I'm not fucking stay. Oh, sorry, I'm just fucking spitting everyone. I was like, I'm not going to stay in there. And she was like, no, they're really lovely people. I absolutely took the piss though, because we got there. They were like the nicest couple ever. I was their first foster kid that they'd ever like had. And they, for them,
They never did it again.
they fucked it off. They actually did.
Oh, did they?
She got pregnant though, but I don't know whether I don't know. No, I think they liked me. So I just took advantage of that situation though, because it was like, oh, it's brilliant because they went to work, I got my uniform on, pretended I was going to school, and I was like, bye! Like walking down the street with my banana, like trying to act like a fucking goody two shoes. And then I was ringing my boyfriend at the time, like, yeah, they've gone. And then I'd just go back in, and then we just spent all day in bed together. And then I'd put my uniform on and walk back around the corner doing the whole false thing again.
And so then you got pregnant while you were living with them?
I was getting pregnant under the vicar's house, yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God, though. And so then did you stay living with them throughout your pregnancy?
No, I stayed with them for a bit, and then obviously, thank God, like the rules have changed now. Like this would never happen in this day and age. So the social services came forward and they were like, right, Helen, we have some news. You can either stay with this. Oh no, so they found me, the family up Smithles, which I should have just gone there because it was like this massive farm, and they were like, you can go and stay with this family and they look after teenage mums. And I was like, no, like I just want my own place. I was thinking, I'm still at school, I can like wag it in my house with all my friends. So that's what I did, and then I got keys for my own house 2 days after my 16th birthday, and then it was literally just like about 6 or 7 of us, if not more some days, would just like leg it from school and then just spend all day in mine listening to music. They all got pissed, and then I found out I was pregnant, obviously, so I didn't know I was pregnant while I was at the vicar's house.
All right.
And then I found out.
So then you lived on your own, had your son on your own?
Yeah.
Or did the dad move in with you, or?
Not exactly, no. He was kind of like...
Is he the same age as you?
No, he's 2 years older than me. Is he 2 years older than me? This is how well I know him now. Yeah, he's about 2 years older than me.
All right.
But no, he was like the golden child, and obviously I got pregnant by myself. Like there was no help.
Yeah.
So his mum didn't want the whole like me and him living together kind of thing.
So was he good? Did he help when you had the baby?
No. He's pretty, like, I'm not just sitting here now saying, like, my son's 15. If my son was a lot younger, I wouldn't be having this conversation, because I used to kind of give him the whole, like, false illusion that, oh, your dad's in the army, he's a soldier, he's going fighting all the baddies, when really I just wanted to go like, your dad's a wanker. But he knows now. He's made his own mind up, and that's the best thing I've ever done, is let him make his own mind up. No, he's there's not really anything there. And my son's not bothered. He's not one of these kids. He used to be when, you know, he constantly got let down. But as he's got older, he kind of like laughs it off. Like,
that's like heartbreaking for a kid though, when it goes
it
through
is.
that. It's the middle years, isn't it? And then
It's
they will
not-
get to a teenager.
I think though, like when they've got friends whose dads have done the same,
yeah,
it's some form of peace of mind. As much as like he didn't help out, I'd have been screwed without them. My mum and dad didn't help out raising my son and stuff. They were kind of like, she's made a bed, she's like let her lie in it, and all this crap. Whereas they've really helped out, and he's got a really good bond with his dad's dad.
Oh,
so,
nice. So at least
you
he's
know,
got like a male
yeah.
figure in his life.
And I've got to admit, I'm not making excuses, because if you're a bad dad, you're a bad dad. Because it'd be very different if a girl was a bad mum.
Yeah.
You know, a girl goes out and it's like, oh, she's going out again.
I know,
and it's like, well, hang on a minute. Are you actually going to pull up the guys who don't pay for the kids and the guys that go around just, you know, like the Pied Piper popping kids out left, right and centre and don't do fuck all about it after they've done it. But I think when a teenage girl gets pregnant, it's very different to a lad getting pregnant. Don't get me wrong. If the boot was on the other foot and I was a mum, and no, I am a mum, but if he came home, my son came home, oh Lord, my God, let's just touch some wood, this never happens, and he came home saying that, like, such body's pregnant, he would literally be doing right by her. I would not have any of this.
Yeah.
I think it is so paramount that you, especially with sons, like, you're training them to be a dad and a boyfriend and a husband.
So I make my son go out on dates with me. Well, I don't make him, he likes it. So last night we went out on a date. So I'll give him £20 and then he'll take me to the cinema. I mean, he's only 9, but he'll take me to the cinemas, which means he's got to open the doors.
You open the doors, yeah, that's what I do.
Obviously, like, I've given the money, but he pays for the tickets. Because these, so
really
like,
important.
Yeah, a girl, it's just in you. Like,
have you not noticed the confidence in him though as well? Like, see, I've always done that with my son as well. And when he actually got a girlfriend, he was not, you know, like some kids would be a bit embarrassed about coming on telling the mums they've got a bird. He wasn't. He was just like, I'm going to take her to the cinema. Can I take your card? And I was like, yeah. And you know what? I was like, don't take the piss with the money. And he really didn't. He took her there and I was like, make sure you hold the door open, offer her like popcorn and does she want a drink and stuff like that. And then he took her to Frankie and Benny's after and got her some pasta. And like, he wasn't nervous about it because I'd done the whole, like, if I'm at Trafford Centre and I'm walking around with him and I see a lady walking, so I hold that door open for that lady.
Yeah.
But I actually don't really need to say it anymore because now he's 15. And like, because you're doing it now when he's, like, your son's 9. It just naturally comes to them. Like, I don't think there's anything worse than an obnoxious,
because then they'll be better boyfriends, they'll be better dads, they'll just be, well, just better human beings, because women have that instinct in us. So when we have our children, it's just like a hormone thing, I don't know what it is, but with boys, really, you need to, like, nurture them so that they understand, like, oh, this is, like, how you should treat a woman or whatever. And, do you know, like, so I've had conversations
and stuff like that, isn't it? Like,
just being a gentleman, there's no chivalry about it. And then, you know, you get your menus and these excuses, oh, you want equal rights, like, turn it in, equal rights, open the door. Just open the door, be a gentleman. Otherwise, piss off away from it. Like, it's that side. But I think it is important because it's being lost. You know, like, it's Big Harrison, my partner. I think I'm so lucky to find him because his mum has been like that with him. Yeah. So he'll always order all the shopping, open the doors. He's a proper gentleman. But I cannot remember the last time I met somebody who was a proper gentleman like that, he is. Yeah. Because men just don't do it. Do you know, like, just pulling out a chair and that.
It's true. I pull up on
Josh is sat here by himself like, oh my God.
He's making notes. But like, I pull up on the drive and he'll literally walk outside and he knows I've got shopping and whatever. Just opens the door and starts taking everything in. Like, and it's little things like that. Like,
I do think it's when you're on your own, when the mum's on their own as well.
Of course, I think it makes a massive difference.
They like step up and so my little son said to me as well. So Big Harrison lives away half of the week. Then I go down to visit him, or he comes up here, and something happened. I can't remember what it was. Something happened in the house. And my son's called Harrison as well, and he turned around to me and he was like, he was saying something like, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "Harrison, you don't have to worry about me." I can't remember what had happened. And I was like, "Harrison, you don't have to worry about me." And he's like, "I do, Mum, because when Big Harrison's not here, I'm the man about the house." Honestly, I started crying my eyes out in front of him. I never cry in front of him. And I was like, "Oh my God,
no,
I'm so
little things
cute,
like
Mum."
that are everything.
Yeah, I was like, and he just said that off his own back, like, but that's what I think happens when they're just with the mother. They feel like they want to be
They worry as well, like I don't really go out anymore. Like, my social life isn't exactly booming, and but like I was like when I'm like at home and stuff, and I spend like it don't bother me being on my own. I'm always like occupied doing something. Like I'll just go out with the dog and whatever. But my son has picked up on the fact that like I'm slightly different to my friends. My friends are all in relationships, well, except for one of my close friends. But my friends who I've been friends with for years, they're all married. They kind of like do the whole baking thing, the Mother Earth thing, which is amazing. But obviously my son's a lot older now, so it's so cute. He'll be like, "Are you not going out tonight, Mum?" I'm like, "No, I'm alright. I'm just gonna stay in." He's like, "Right, well, I'm gonna come in," and then I do feel. I think I was on my period this week. I'm such a fucking melt when I'm on my period, and I was like walking the dog. Oh no, I went to walk the dog. This is pathetic. I can't even believe I'm admitting this. But I was like, "Are you coming walking the dog with me?" Now he always walks the dog with me. And then this particular day he was like, "No, I can't be bothered." I went, "Fine then, I'll go and walk him on my own." And I'll cry over the most stupid shit when I'm on my period. Like all my eyes started watering. And he was like, "What's wrong with you?" I went, "Nothing." I went, I don't know whether you feel this now, your son's like 9, but that you kind of feel like you lose them a bit as they get older, and it's a really shitty feeling. You've got all this to come.
Oh, don't, yeah.
It's a really
not like
shitty
now.
feeling.
He's just like, he doesn't leave me alone. And there's times when I think, please do leave me alone.
No.
Like, piss off, I can't have a wee on my own.
It.
He comes in the bathroom, "What are you doing, Mum?" I'm like, "Still just out toilet, mate." Any chance? Like, you just get out.
No, treasure it, because you start to see them, and you've got to let them have that little life. Like it's the best thing I've ever done, because he has made a little life for himself. But it's at the same time, it is upsetting when you see it. But this time when I was like saying about the dog walk, and anyway, I started walking up the street, and he started walking up behind me. I went, "Don't just come following me because you feel bad." I went, "I only want you to come if you want to come. Like, this is so fucking pathetic."
It's such a woman thing
I know. Anyway, he came up, he started laughing his head off. He went, "You're pathetic." He went, "Mum, do you know what?" He said, "When I'm out with my mates and I know you're in on like a Friday and a Saturday on your own, I'll go," and I did notice this, because I do let him out till like 10, 11 o'clock, whatever, and he'd come in an hour early, and he'd be like, "I'm not go on because my mum's on her own." And I was like, I started crying even more. Then he went, "What are you doing?" He can't stand to, he's quite an emotionless person, really. Not like in a bad way, but he went, "What are you doing?" I was like, I went, "Don't feel bad about me being on my own." He went, "I can't win." He went, "I've chased you up the road."
That just makes me feel worse, though, doesn't it?
Yes, and I just felt like a dick. I was like,
it's just learning at a young age how nuts women are.
Yeah, definitely is. Well, he came out with the best theory ever. Like, his girlfriend finished him because her mate finished her boyfriend to make him like her more. Worst thing she could ever done with him. So he's turned around to her and said, like, "So you finished me because of this, that, and the other. Well, we're just done now." So she wanted him back. So he come talking to me about it, and honestly, his take on it was brilliant. And I thought, oh my God, I can tell he spends too much time with me, like. And he turned around and went, "Do you know what it's like being with her?" And I was like, "What?" He went, "You know, in the olden days when they used to like drown people, like if they're accused of being a witch, even like, you know, that kind of like thing." He went, "She used to like want me to argue with her, and if I didn't argue with her, she'd still have a go at me anyway." He went, "Well, that's what it was like with her." He went, "It was like being a witch in the old days, and she felt drowned by her existence." I went, "Don't ever say that to her though, will you?" And he went, "No."
A bit depressing.
I was like, "No, just don't say that. That's a bit deep, that, to be honest." But yeah.
Oh, bless him.
No.
So then, you've had your son, you're at sixth form.
Yeah.
What was your job then? Did you
I went into retail then. I was horrendous, probably the worst that Debenhams have ever employed. Like, I worked in retail.
In Debenhams?
In Debenhams,
oh, right, okay.
Yeah. I did a few different shops in there. So I actually bumped into someone not that long ago, and she was like, "Oh my God, Helen, I've not seen you for years." And she was like, "God, I thought you two-faced bitch." She went, "Oh, we used to always say in the staff room, I don't know, Helen's not been sacked yet." was like, you cheeky fucker, you never said that to me. I was like, I kept you all entertained, didn't I?
So then you did that for a few years, and then at what
Yeah.
point, and when did you become an escort,
So-
and how did you get into being an escort?
So, like, I worked in an office for ages.
After Debenhams, you went
Yeah. So I finally left because this woman that said she was a vampire slapped my ass. So instead of slapping her around the face, I just fucking walked out. So weird, I know. So yeah, I left, and then I got an office job.
So how old were you at this point?
I was about 19, 20 at this point.
Yeah.
Didn't have a clue what I was doing. Just sat behind a table or like a desk all day. Oh, that's it. I had 2 different office jobs, and one of them was kind of like booking reps in all over the country. I didn't know what I was doing, but still got paid, so it was quite good. And then fucked around.
It's the worst member of staff ever.
Never employ me. Yeah, and then I got another job that I actually started to take seriously finally. So I was working for like this CAD company. And I actually really enjoyed it, but I fucked around too much. Then they put me in this room with this accountant, and that's the best thing that they could ever done. I started really looking up to this girl. Like, bear in mind, I was still quite young at this point. She was dead clever. She was a proper soothing character, but like funny as well. And she taught me loads of stuff like to do on the computer. So I was like, I'm onto something here. Like, I started like visioning like Hilary Devane and everything, like going well overboard. Like, my fucking mind was just playing tricks. Like, all along they were just planning on sacking me. I thought I was probably like, went out and got like myself like new office clothes and everything. And then they fucked me off. They had to make cutbacks. So naturally the person who wasn't making targets was one of the first to go, which would be me. And it was a bit of a kick in the teeth, really. Like, I'm quite thick-skinned, but at that time I was like, hang on a minute, I thought I was going places with this fucking job. And I wasn't. I was let's just get my P45. And then, my whole world crumbled. I took a loan out like a dick. It was only like £1,000, but £1,000 at that age was like a fucking £1,000,000. So I took £1,000 out. My landlord was a perv. I couldn't afford. I need to stress, like, it's my old landlord, because anyone watching this like knows that I've had another landlord since, and he's lovely. Fucking hell. Yeah. So this dude like kept trying it. Like, he was trying it on. I was kind of like the young mum, like staying in his house and things like that. And then I owed rent, which just now, if I owed a bit of money out like that, I'd just be like, just fucking wait, you'll get the money. Like, but at the time I was like, I owe a lot of money out. I think I owe 1,700 quid. And I was shitting bricks about this money. Bear in mind, from being 16, I was so on top of kind of like paying my bills. I wasn't getting much money like each week and whatever, but I kept on top of everything. And then all of a sudden it was like, boom. And I didn't have friends to ask if I could lend the money, because we were all kind of in the same boat. And, like, everyone was on peanuts because we were only young or whatever. And I just melted, really. And then my friend at the time, I rung her up and said like, oh fuck, I've lost my job, blah blah blah, like I don't know what I'm gonna do. She was like, why don't you do what I've been doing? I was like, what? So she said escorting. So straight away I'd obviously asked her if. Oh, by the way, at this point I'd started lap dancing as well, which I absolutely hated. I was shit at the job. It was horrible. It was. This sounds. I don't mean this bad towards lap dancers. I take my hat off to them. It's a hard job. I was crap. Like, I couldn't sit around talking to men and basically not getting paid for it, because what was the point? You sat around with your tits out with men just staring at you.
Oh God, I would hate that.
It's minging. It was minging, and so I was doing like
so young.
I was
like
doing the
19.
office job, and then my friend used to look after my son for like 3-4 nights a week. So when I finished work, I used to finish work at 4, and then I'd go lap dancing at, I think it's about 8 o'clock, and then you lap dance till 6. And
What, in the morning? And then go to work again?
Yeah. So I knew, like, it was like an entrapment feeling. Like, I know that sounds like a bit of a kind of like get out of jail card, and I don't mean it to sound like that because no one forced my arm or anything like that. But yeah, I just kind of so she told me she did the escorting thing, and I said, well, how do I do it? Do I need to sleep with them? She was like, you don't have to sleep with them all. So I was like, okay, probably slept with worse for free. So I may as well just like give it a whirl. So I did.
I mean, that is true. You probably have slept with worse for free.
I think most people are really.
Yeah.
So when people are like, I mean, oh, I'm the worst for this, when people are kind of, oh, you did this, that, and the other for money, and I'm like, yeah, but you've probably done it. You probably shagged someone for a lot less, to be honest. You probably spend all night trying to get free drinks off a guy, hovering around the booth with the most drinks, just because you don't want to pay for your own, and then you probably suck him off at the end of the night or go home with him. So fuck off, love. I pay for my own drinks. I don't hover around men's tables.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of women are very quick to judge, but actually, if they boiled it down and kind of really kind of looked into it, I think a lot of women have prostituted themselves in some way.
On the bandwagon. Like, to be honest, I would never judge anybody for this. I have a couple of friends who are, well, they're not so much friends anymore. People who are escorts now, and I would never judge them. I don't give a shit. If that is what you choose to do with your life, and you're earning good money, and you're bringing your kids up, like, what the fuck's it got to do with me? I chose my business. I could personally never do it. It just is not in me. I couldn't do it. I feel like, but I would never think if somebody else is happy to do it, and you're not bothered, it's different if women have been a bit more forced into it and all this. But if you are happy to do it,
that's why I think it should be legalised, because
that was one of my questions.
Yeah, legalise it, because police should be policing the girls that are being trafficked. Why have we got an issue with women that are happy to go and make the most of themselves?
Well, why would they? I don't understand why it would be illegal. If a woman wants to do it, like, you have to, I don't know, do something,
if they're making
do some
the wrong
paperwork,
money
and
and
it's
there's
like,
no
this is
third
what I want to do.
party involved, what's the problem? Listen, men are always going to cheat anyway. I'm not saying all men, before I'll get a lot of abuse for saying that. But men are always going to cheat anyway. So when I had some absolute fucking moron last week from Cheshire Housewives going, you shouldn't be sleeping with married men. Come on, like.
Well, again, my opinion on this is,
it's going to happen
I
anyway.
don't think women should go out of their way to be sleeping with married men at all. And it is completely wrong. But he was the one.
But they're not
who
all
was
married.
Well, and I mean, who they was talking about then, he's the one who took the vows and promised. You didn't promise them with his wife. So again, I don't want to be like, oh, go out and sleep with loads of married men, but it shouldn't always be the women who get the shit over this. The men.
That's what I
should be
mean.
the one who get the shit.
Equally, I will never ever so when people do try and defend me in that sense, and they say she's done nothing wrong, I do try and say to people, I'm really grateful for you trying to stick up for me. I don't really like people sticking up for me, to be honest. I'd rather me just be able to say my own thing. I'm never ever going to say that I haven't done something wrong. I'm never going to say that, like, I purposely went out and hurt somebody. Like, I never want to intentionally hurt a family. But in the long run, people have been hurt due to things that I've done and men have done that made vows to say that they never would do. I can't put it all on the man. But then I've been cheated on. And I didn't blame the girl. In fact, she did me head in. She actually kept ringing me up going, oh, I've slept with him and I'm so sorry and I knew he had a bird. I went, fuck it, I'm not arsed. I went, you don't know me. And it was when I come off Big Brother, and she kept she was actually starting to bug me really. She kept trying to talk to me. And she went, I just feel really bad, you're not even mad with me. I went, why would I be mad with you? I'm not arsed. I ended up saying stop ringing me because she'd emailed me saying I need to speak to you. She was like, I was sleeping with your boyfriend all along. And I knew that. And I was like, no probs. He was a dick. No, don't worry about
thanks for letting me know.
She was a lot younger than me. And I ended up turning it around. I just said, stay away from people like him. He's bad news. Don't go for men like him. He's fucked my head up, and I'm about 4 years older than you.
Yeah.
So stay away from guys like that. And she couldn't get it into her head. She was like, I don't get how you're not mad at me. Why would I be mad at you?
Yeah, well, the thing is, she wasn't the one who was going out with you, and no. The way that I would see it is, if it wasn't her, it would be somebody else.
It was different. It was different. It was like one of my friends or someone that knew me.
Yeah.
So
then you got into, just to take it back to that, so you've got into escorting through your friend.
Yeah.
And You was 19 at this point then?
No, I was about 20. No, I was about 21 when I finally like went into that. I did a lot of retail. I was in retail for like 2-3 years. It's about 2021 when I first started like lap dancing. Then,
and then what was you like? Like straight away, are you having to sleep with people?
Yeah, you'd sleep. I slept with someone as soon as I went for an interview. Yeah, it was kind of like. You just
so does somebody else like sort all this out? So
yeah.
They'll be like, "Oh, we've got a man for you. Do you want to go out?"
Yeah.
Or are they like, "Oh, do you have to go out?"
It's just
Is it kind
you
of
worked in an
forced?
apartment on your own.
All right. So somebody else pays for this apartment.
Yeah.
And then what? Just men just keep coming in.
Yeah, more or less.
What? And they just like set up meetings.
It's not like I suppose it's not like a cattle market kind of brothel where like, see some brothels. I've had friends that work in them, and one that actually got shut down last year. And they had to like sleep with minimum 10 people a day or they were home. So it was never anything like that. It was you just did what you wanted.
I felt like escorts like went out on a date somewhere fancy.
You do. So you're going like you'd have an apartment that you could work from, but you could also the apartment was like a home girlfriend experience kind of thing, or you go for a meal and go to a hotel and things like that, and then. Yeah, you had both options.
So it's just whatever they wanted, the men. And then was it like, do you get regular men?
Yeah, like you kind of like built up like a rapport with, like obviously the same men had kind of come to see you, and then
and they'll start saying, I want to see Helen.
Yeah, you just start. Well, I wasn't called Helen, but.
What was you called?
I'm not saying. I'm never fucking tell anyone.
Tell me. No. What was it? Something like fucking Roxy? I texted anyway. Go Roxy.
Stella.
Mercedes.
No.
Will you tell me after though?
Yeah, I'll tell you after. Like, yeah. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, but I used to. You kind of like build up like a rapport with the same people. And then eventually you just got their numbers, and then you just saw them on the slice. You didn't have to pay the agency any money.
Ah, right, okay.
So,
and so then, how long did you do it for?
Did it for about 2 years.
Oh, was that all?
Yeah, no, I didn't do it long.
And so then when you was doing that, what was you like with your home life with your son? Did you ever think to yourself at any point? Was you like
worked in the day and the weekends? I didn't really have. I kind of like it was weird. I turned into quite an ice queen, more robotic, and I was very like, so I'm a mum, and then I work, and that's it. It kind of stopped appealing to me to go out and things like that. I think because I knew what I was doing, so I kind of stayed away from the whole going out too much. So that became my life.
Why, in case you'd seen somebody you'd been seeing?
Well, it did happen once. I was in Panacea and I bumped into, there was a guy across the bar. Now, I was with people who didn't know what I was doing, so oh my God, like my ass went, I was like, no. Yeah. So I was like that across the bar, like, you don't know me.
I bet. So then what are they like? What are these men like? Is it just like a typical bloke, or is there something
like
weird about?
Everyone kind of like thinks it's like these grotty old men that are like going seeing escorts and stuff. It's not. There's like, do you know what? You wouldn't believe the amount of guys that cannot. And is it any wonder in this day and age? I mean, I know it was like 10 years ago, if not longer, when I did it. Yeah, it's 10 years ago. But like a lot of guys struggle to go out and speak to a girl. Now, guys come across like, a lot of guys come across like they're very confident and stuff, and they're not. And they can't go into a bar and talk to a girl, usually because girls are arseholes and they're not very nice to talk to. Yeah. Like, we all know, we know what girls can be like. So for a guy being the one that's expected to make the first move all of the time, that's really difficult for them to kind of get their head around. So they may have men that kind of, and a lot, again, didn't always want sex. They actually loved sitting talking to a confident girl. So it gave them confidence.
What, just having like a general chit chat?
Having a general chit chat. And then you had guys who like, which is such a shame, you had guys that kind of haven't got over ex-girlfriends. You've got guys that are like, you know, they've lost their wives and whatever. Like, a lot of good guys have like lost their wives, like sickness and things like that. And then they feel like they're doing a bad thing going out sleeping with another girl, but they need sex.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of like, it's not always
So
what
they're
you
not
think.
just all
Don't get me
really
wrong,
good.
obviously a lot of it's like because men just love sex and whatever.
Yeah.
And they love having like a bird on their arm and whatever in the company. But there is all different reasons why men do turn to escorts. And a lot of men, yes, they're married, but you would not believe the amount of men, rich men especially, know that their wives are playing away and things like that, but they've got younger children and they don't want to they don't want to break up a family unit.
It's just honestly, I just rather wouldn't be here than be stuck in a relationship with somebody
exactly.
who was together just for our kids.
Exactly. Going back to what I said before, when people kind of like, I've had women say things to me, and I'm like, you've actually spoken about how like you're in a shitty relationship, you're in this, you're that. So that's why a lot of women do take their shit out on me, because they think, oh well, my boyfriend cheats on me, so he probably cheats.
You're like that woman.
And I'm like, leave then.
Yeah.
That's not my fault. Like, and you get the same as like, I know women that cheat and stuff like that, and vice versa, and they're in this trap relationship where basically they're just a pair of dogs that accept each other's behaviour, but they don't talk about it. They don't have the balls to leave each other. So it's just easier to blame everybody else.
So I guess really they're just having open relationships, but not
having
acknowledging
an open
it.
relationship, aren't they? Yeah, that's exactly.
Why don't they just acknowledge that then?
I don't
The world
know.
would be a better place.
I'm not a relationship expert. I've had like 1-2 relationships in my life, which were both disasters. So because I can't get my head around it, I don't get how people waste their lives. Like my fear is like being lied to.
Do you think though, because of everything you've seen in those years being an escort, that makes it difficult for you to have a relationship? I
can't put it down to the escorting. I would put me I've always never had a problem being single and whatever. I was single for years, and then I kind of ended up in an absolute fucking stupid relationship for years. Like giving someone, for me, it isn't the escorting thing. It is when you give someone your all and you're loyal, and you basically would bend over backwards for someone, and then they throw it in your face.
No matter what, there's flaws in everyone. If you're going to have any kind of relationship,
flaws is fine. What I don't like is a liar. If you're gonna,
I think the older you get though, and the more independent you get, do you not think it's going to just become more and more difficult for you to?
Yeah.
Because you're just so used to being on your own.
At the moment, I kind of like, because obviously, like, I went to a hen do a couple of years ago, and this woman was like, so everyone was married off in the room, and then there was me, and she was sat on the corner of the chair, and she went to me. I was sat there, and she was above there, which I didn't like, anyway. And then she was. Have you not found anyone yet? I went, like I'm a fucking cat, like this on my shoulder. I went, I'm not looking. And she was like, oh, she went, and she did it again. She was like, you'll find someone one day. I went, will you stop doing that? I went, I'm not looking. I thought, you fucking, you know when you, I was at a hundred, and I felt like saying, you fucking patronising bastard, get off my shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not looking. Like, when I go out with my friends, this is the harder thing. Because I don't go out very much. When I do, I literally am all about who I'm out with.
Yeah.
Have a night out with my friends. I don't go out kind of like, oh my God, it's a sausage fest. Like, let's have a look around us. If I meet someone, bonus. I met someone at weekend when I was in London. Like, I am quite anti-Bolton. Sorry, Bolton FM. But, like, I won't entertain anyone from round here. Like, I won't entertain anyone, like, from, like, Manchester or anything like that. Because I just don't see the point. I probably need someone from Australia, to be honest. Like, that's...
New Zealand, can't get any further. The moon.
Not, yeah.
I'm looking for an alien. If
Yeah.
you see it, let me know.
I'd love an alien.
What? And so, what is it like when you get in a relationship now? Are they judgmental on what you've done?
I've been single for like 6 years now, is it? Now it's about 5-6 years that I've been single. And then I met a guy about 2 years ago. Is it 2 years ago? 2 years ago. And I met this guy. I was in like one of my favourite clubs in Ibiza. Tall, dark, handsome, Dubliner. Love Dubliners. And I thought, bingo, this is brilliant. Like, he's fit as fuck. He's tall. And, you know, for someone Irish, so he wasn't that funny. So, but I think he relied on his looks. But I started meeting him and whatever. Like, I work in Dublin a lot. So I went over, like, seeing him. And I was furious. I went to Cork working travelled down from Dublin to Cork to work there. And I always said to him, please don't like contact me while I'm at work. Like if I'm busy, like I don't like being mithered and whatever. But I keep my phone on naturally because I've got a son and whatever. Oh, stupidly looked at my phone in between clients and he sent me a message saying, oh hi, Rachel, his ex-girlfriend, has sent me a newspaper clipping. Is this true? How fucking dare you interrupt my day with a message like that? I said, number one, I've told you don't contact me at work. I said, number two, I said, what the fuck has it got to do with your ex? What I used to do. I went, is this your ex who's never worked and got pregnant off you and has never worked a day in her life? I went, her opinion on me is void. I went, so please don't talk to me about her. She's not a working mum. She's sat on a fat ass, just popping out kids because she doesn't want to work. So don't talk about other women that are single mums. Oh, so I lost it. And he was like, it was a bit cringe really. He was like, oh, I'll drive down to Cork. And I was like, seriously, don't fucking show up. I went, because I'll cause a scene. He was like, what time are you flying? I went, I'm not telling you. So obviously he looked at the flights. And he was like, I went, if you turn up at the airport, I said, this isn't fucking a film. I said, I'm not going to run into your arms and be like, oh, it's okay, let's start again, let's talk. I was like, I'll tell you to fuck off. I said, I thought, I won't even talk. I'd literally just walk straight past you. I went, if you want to drive that far, for me to just walk past you in the airport, sound, go for it. He didn't do it. I think he actually knew I was being serious, thank God. But I was dreading it. You should have seen when I got to the airport. I was like this, like an absolute weasel, running around checking in. And I just legged it through the other side. I thought, I feel like his little head's gonna pop out and be like that with some roses, like, Helen, don't go. So, and then he tried talking to me, but he was like, you've got to understand where I'm coming from. I went, I don't. I said, there's one man in all of my life that I will only ever sit down. He can grill me. He can tell me that I've upset him because of my actions and what I've done, and that's my son. And that's it. No man has a right to say anything to me about what I've done and why I've done it.
A couple of things on that point. Number one, do you not think you was overly defensive there?
No. Why is he texting me what he's...
Like, to me, that does seem like you were quite defensive about the situation. Like, I understand it, but make your point and then move on from it.
I should have pointed out, so we'd already spoken about this, and I'd politely said, it's not really something I want to sit and talk. I mean, like, we were sat on the balcony, and he was asking me loads of questions about it. So this is prior to me going...
Oh, so we already knew then?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry, I'd not pointed that out. But why has he gone and told his ex-girlfriend? Like, we'd only just started seeing each other.
So you'd already discussed it with him, he knew about it, and then he told his ex-girlfriend, and then she's found something else.
And then she's gone, like, because she's nothing better to do with her boring-ass life, she's sat Googling me. Like, Googling newspaper articles about me, sending them over, and he's screenshotting me what she's saying. Like I'm supposed to go, oh my God, like, his ex has a problem with me.
So you already knew about it. All right, so then you...
Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't point that out. Yeah, he knew.
Oh, I thought you meant like you just found out.
Christ,
and then
I can't exactly shy away from it, but no, I'd already told him. And I just said to him, in a nutshell, not really like something I want to sit here and talk about, to be honest. It's a bit weird. Like, what do you want to know? Because he started delving in stuff, and I kind of put it to bed in the nicest way possible. And then he sent me that, and I was like, you're taking the piss. Like, I told you not to talk to me about it. Not because, like, I'm bothered about talking about it as much, but I'm just about getting to know someone. You know, you're supposed to, like, this is way too deep. This is something that you talk about when you're really in with somebody.
If you want to, like, progress it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Like, I'd met him in Ibiza. I thought, we had a couple of really mint nights out in Dublin. Like, can we just talk about normal stuff? I'm not going to sit here and start talking to you about super injunctions and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, have a day off.
And then, right, okay. And the other thing is, so obviously one of the people that you slept with was Wayne Rooney, which is what brought you to the public eye. So I guess it's bittersweet for you, because without it all coming up, you wouldn't have got Big Brother and things that progressed from it.
Every close is a silver lining. It definitely does. And I have come out on top from it.
But I mean, how does that happen? Like, how did Wayne Rooney end up being a client?
We just met him, like, on a night out. We met him in Manchester.
Ah, right. So this wasn't like your agent.
Sportsmen are like the biggest kind of clientele, which for me, he was nice, but a lot of sportsmen, footballers especially, are probably the most vile, disgusting, rude humans ever. As much as like a lot of my friends that were in the industry loved kind of seeing, you know, footballers and things like that, but because of the money. But for me, they're like the worst. They're the worst clientele you could have
Just
ever
really
got.
disrespectful.
Horrible people. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've met footballers over my time on nights out. I've never dated one or accepted a drink off one because they are so rude to women, just so rude.
Not
like
just rude
as if they can just buy you, and I'm like, I'm not an escort, and I'm not here for you to buy me. I remember once, what's his name, but a footballer who was really famous at the time pushed in front of me at the bar and like got everybody a drink of that, and I was like, mate, fucking move. And he was like, what? I'll get you a drink. I said, I don't want you to get me I want to get my own drink before you, because I was the official prick. And they still wouldn't serve me first, because he's like, oh, I'm famous and he's got all this money. I'm like, that is just pig ignorant. What do you think? You can come in here and just buy everybody in the bar? Not every woman's about that.
No.
So I can, and that isn't like, that's one tiny incident. I've had far worse incidents, to be honest. And I just could not entertain that kind of thing. But it's because they've got money. They're young, they're daft. And I'm not saying them all, because I do know some nice ones.
Yeah, exactly. But like, for instance, not even like with women, like this. One of the first encounters that I ever had with like footballers, we were in a casino, and there was like, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. We were in like the VIP bit upstairs. They were throwing like, so staff were coming out with these trays full of food. They were just doing this as they were walking past. They were throwing furniture around, and I was like, I need to get out of here. Like, I can't. Like, this is fucked.
It's just rude.
They're vile.
I know, yeah.
Like,
because they've got money.
Like, and I just think, like, what a shame. You've got all that money. Like, some of you are actually really good looking, but you literally got the most dog shit personality.
Yeah.
But some women like it, usually because they've got dog shit personalities as well.
Yeah, and no money.
Yeah, they've no money, so it all just bodes really well, doesn't it?
Oh no. So you've met Wayne Rooney on a night out. You're doing your thing. Was he a regular client? Was this a one-off thing?
No, it was a one-off, and like, obviously that dickhead who I did it with, she like goes on to like lie and say, oh no, he was buzzing off it and all that. No, he wasn't. He wasn't buzzing after he did it at all. Like, you know, if he was, I'd say so, but he wasn't. I don't understand why he cheats, because it wasn't like, I don't know, like he was just a normal guy. Like, that's why kind of, as a footballer, I did find him all right. He was just like a really average lad. Like, he wasn't a knobhead. But he wasn't like buzzing or anything after it. So why, I don't get why he cheats. Really. Well, I do. I get why a lot of them cheat, because they get with girls at a really young age. And when they're meant to have been shagging everything with a pulse, they weren't.
Yeah. And then when you're a bit older and you're ready for it to settle down, you make a better decision on what's going to work for you
exactly,
as well.
You know yourself. If you don't know yourself as a person, and I'm sorry, but not very many 16, 17-year-olds, which a lot of footballers are when they get into it, if not, they're younger, aren't they?
Yeah.
They don't know themselves. So
and
I'm not making excuses.
So then afterwards he was just like, he wasn't buzzing, it was just...
No, I actually wanted to, because I kind of knew what Jenny... had in mind to do. I kind of got the gist.
What, did you know that she was like that?
There was just, no, I didn't know she would, no, because I obviously said to her, this can't ever get out, like, I've got a kid, like, this can't get out, like, it literally ruined my fucking life, and that's really annoying, but, being the type of friend that I am, I kind of thought, surely, I've just said that to her, she's not really going to jeopardise and fuck me over when I've got a child.
Why did she mention you though? Why didn't she just say herself?
Well,
then?
this is the thing, like, this was the great part, like, she just got busted with it all, basically, because when she sold the news to the News of the World, they then contacted me, for like a week or so, and then fuck off.
So just to clarify to any listeners who don't know, I'm sure they do, but you slept with Wayne Rooney with somebody else as well.
Like, yeah.
Who was your best friend, and she sold the story about this.
Yeah. So a year later, she tried selling it not long after. I didn't tell anyone. I only told my best friend that I'd slept with him. Then I went to a house party. Turned out the whole of the house party knew. So I ended up like scragging her to one side, and I didn't talk to her from that point. And then I had the worst feeling ever. I started to do something that like is totally not like me. I started to arse lick her, and I was treading on eggshells. I don't know, I panicked. I thought this girl could fucking ruin my life.
Yeah.
And I started to arse lick her. Like, I tried keeping on the right side of her all the time, and she knew what I was doing. Like, she wasn't daft. She knew that I was panicking. So I took the opposite kind of thing. Like, and I let our friendship fizzle. I thought I'll stay away from her then. And then so the press came round once, and then they fucked off. They never came back again. And then it was about a year later, they came round, and this is what I'll never ever forgive her for. Not that she gives a shit, because she's a really emotionless, cold-hearted bitch. But she's vile. Like, she's a fucking disgusting person. Like, her own dad, like, nearly had her own dad had a heart attack and stuff because of all this. But then she still went on to like shag footballers and try and get pregnant off them. And then it turned out that the footballer wasn't the kid's dad. Anyway, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of like tramp you're dealing with. So, I let the friendship fizzle, and it all came out. But then the news of the world, I just shut myself off for a week. I wanted to die. I literally could not see a way out of this. I shut myself off in the world and couldn't speak to anyone. And then, basically, my friend was like, Helen, I'm talking to the press every day. You're losing money. Your face is everywhere. Everyone knows what you did. Just make some money off it. You're fucked anyway now. You may as well have a bit of money in your bank. So I was like, no, I can't do it. I'm not being known as a kiss and tell slag and all this. And then, obviously, I agreed to do it exactly a week on from when she busted my ass, basically. And the News of the World woman asked me who'd done her interview. She said, I was in London. She said, can I meet you for a coffee? And I was like, at this point, I was like, can journalists just fuck off out of my life? And I was like, what for? And she was like, I just want to actually, out of work, she went, nothing's recorded. She went, I just want to meet you for a coffee. So much respect for this woman doing it, because this isn't like normal practice for a journalist. So I went meeting her, and she was telling me about herself, how she was pregnant and all this, and I just went, why am I here? Like, can we cut to the chase? Like, I don't get what you've got me here for. She went, don't ever talk to Jenny Thompson ever again. She went, I've got a soft spot for you, Helen. She went, and I really felt sorry for you this week. She went, I've never really worked with someone like you before who has kind of been forced into it. She went, we usually get the phone calls from the girls going, can I tell this story? She went, so to see you the way you've been this week isn't, it's not very nice. And she said, it was actually me that got your name off Jenny. She went, I waved 10 grand in her face. And she dropped your name like that, and she showed me a picture of you on Facebook. And whilst I'm begging her, so she turned her phone off, I'm begging her. Stupidly, I fell into this trap. I was messaging her on Facebook saying, Jenny, please don't do this to me. Like, and I've heard that you were the journalist. She was showing them.
Why did she say you though as well? Why
For
can't
10
she
grand. So she's already.
Why did she even say it was somebody else? Why didn't she just say she'd done it?
Just say you'd done it on your own.
Instead of making it about you.
And then to make it worse, like, obviously afterwards, like when I came out, Max Clifford got in touch, and he was kind of like, if you don't work alongside Jenny, he said, Helen, the whole thing is because it's threesome. He went, if you want to make money off it, he said, you need to put your differences to one side, because they wanted us to do a photo shoot. And I was like, I don't want to do a photo shoot with her. And he was like, you won't make any money then. So, which is like, basically sold my soul to the devil.
Oh, so did you do the photo shoot?
I did a photo shoot, yeah. Which I really enjoyed doing, because I did it with a woman called Jeannie Savage. And she is fucking savage. And she liked me. I was dreading going in this room with her, because she'd worked with really high profile people, famous people. So I thought, she's going to fucking hate me. Like, knowing this. Dead nice to me. Jenny tried kind of like rubbing her up the wrong way, and she just wiped the floor with her.
Oh, really?
And I got airbrushed, and Jenny didn't. Yes, those pictures.
And that's all that matters. And so then at the time, are you like, so how old's your son then? About 5?
He was 5. So that was like, it was just, I cannot understand I don't know how, still to this day, how a girl goes into a room with a guy and thinks, I'm going to fuck this guy over for money when they've got kids and stuff like that. I don't get it.
Why didn't you just ask him for the 10 grand?
Thick. That was my intention. I wanted to see him again and write him a note and say, she's going to fuck you over, see me.
Yeah.
But we didn't get that chance. Because I knew what I just sensed it. I knew what she kind of had up her sleeve. What was I saying? Yeah, so my son was 5. It was kind of like, it was the implications that caused. Like, I wouldn't go into school or anything. I wouldn't collect him from school.
Oh,
For like
God, I know, like, can you imagine
It was like
that?
6 months.
And was everybody, like, talking? Everybody's
I don't know. I think because I was a young mum anyway, I've never been the mum that stood in the playground talking about crap anyway. Like, I was always kind of like, pick him up and leave and whatever. But it was more shameful. Like, he didn't have a clue though.
Yeah,
he
no,
didn't
he's too
know.
little.
Obviously, as he got older, like I've told him everything. But
did he find out himself, or was you
no,
like,
I
right, I
told
need
him.
to tell him?
At first, I said I've been out on a date with someone that I shouldn't have been out on a date with. And everyone doesn't like mummy for it, kind of thing. Like,
Oh
a lot
God.
of people don't
That
like
actually
mummy
just
because
breaks
of
my
that.
heart having to have that conversation.
What broke my heart was when basically the press was swarming everywhere. They were all around my dad's house, my mum's house. They wouldn't leave my best friend was pregnant at the time. She was due that week, and they would not leave her alone. They were hounding her. So one of my other friends agreed. Like, he was like, "I'll come and pick you up," and basically, they just said, "We don't think it's, you shouldn't really have your son around you because like the press will just chase you and stuff." So I had to like hand him over, and he just didn't understand why I was crying, and I was like, I just kept saying I'm sorry. I was like, I'm so sorry, crying my eyes out. And he was just, bless him. I remember he was just stood there in his boxers just going, like, what's she doing?
Yeah.
Which obviously I'm glad it happened at that age. I'm not glad it happened at all, really. But if it was going to happen, I'm glad it happened when he was a lot younger. It was all that kind of thing. And then the going out with him, and like I went out for a meal with him. Like, so people kind of saying like, "Oh, why have you done this book now? Like, why are you dragging it up?" Well, I'm not actually dragging anything up. This is a life that I learned to live with, really. Like, obviously there's Big Brother and everything else, but I've kind of ostracized myself now from most situations because I feel like that's just an easier route. Because you are constantly getting judged because of something that you've done years ago. And again, men aren't judged in that respect. It's always the women that are kind of, they'll always have that name, like if they've done something, they don't ever lose the name. Whereas I think men, not men bashing, and I'm not saying all men are bad, but men escape things a lot easier. They get things Tipp-Ex'd out, whereas a girl doesn't tend to get that. So like, for instance, I went for a meal like for my son's birthday.
Recently,
Yeah, it was his last birthday. Went to a restaurant in Swinton, and there was 9 40-odd-year-old men like this banging on the table, shouting Rooney when I'm sat at a table with my kid. And then the stupid twat then like apologised, and I was like, I don't want to know, just please leave it. He sent over a bottle of Dom Perignon, and I turned around and I went, just shove it up your ass. Like, see what I mean? Like, they think like, yeah, I used to do whatever I did, but you think a bottle of champagne's going to erase that scenario that you've just caused for me and my child. Well, it's not. Fucking joke on it. Like, I don't want your bottle. Like, there's a kid sat there, hurl whatever you want at me. If I'm sat with my friends, say whatever you like, it's fine. But why are you doing that when there's a kid there?
Yeah, that is fucking bad. And so what's he like with it all? Is he sweet now, or?
Yeah, he's fine. He kind of just...
Do people
he's
say
just dead
things to him
resilient.
about
No,
it?
he's like... There was an incident in school where this child kept Googling me, which is going to happen. And my son kept telling him to stop doing it. It's turned out that he's ended up going over, turning his computer off, and lost this kid's work. So my son got sent out of the room. Now, when I asked, did you go and tell the teacher first and whatever, he was like, yeah, I put my hand up and said, will you tell him, sort it out, tell him to stop doing it. And I had a bit of a bicker with the teacher then. I was like, okay, but this kid, take me out of the equation, wasn't doing his work. So he Why have you not done something about that situation? Instead, you removed my kid because he's took matters into his own hands. Because she wanted to put him in suspension unit and all that. And I'm not one of those mums that's kind of like, my child never does anything wrong. Like, I'm not like that. If he does something wrong, he does something wrong. But I said he's not going in.
Well, no, I mean, that's
You're not putting him in.
That's upsetting to him anyway, that other kid needs sorting out.
Exactly. So she couldn't even look me in the eye at parents' evening. She was kind of like looking, and I went, you're not even making eye contact with me. So why? If I was sure about a decision I'd made, I would happily be able to stare at someone while I'm talking to them.
So do you, as a mother then, do you feel bad that your son has to, it's not the biggest thing in the world, but obviously that will be upsetting for him in school. Do you feel bad about that?
For situations like that, of course, but as he's like grown up, he has become quite big. I say things happen like that. So it happened like 10 years ago, obviously. Well, it came out not that long ago, but he's become quite resilient to it. And it's all the Big Brother stuff now. So people are quite nice to him about who I am because of the Big Brother
because then you turn it around on, but you went on Big Brother and won it.
Although I was like, I don't think your friends should have been watching me really, because I didn't let him watch me. I was like, don't let him watch me. But
don't let him watch me. I know what I'm like.
Fuck that. He's never seen me drunk. Like, honestly, he's like 15 and he's still never even seen me drunk or anything. So that's what I was worried about. I thought, oh my God, get a wine down my neck. And I'm like, everyone. So, he's kind of like dealt with things as well as can be expected. Obviously, the guilt's there. The guilt's always going to be there. That's never ever going to leave me.
Do you regret doing it?
Regret what?
The escorting?
No, don't regret the escorting. I regret my choice. I regret my choices of who I let have that kind of information. I regret who I trusted. That's always been my regret. My regret is basically who I've trusted. I've made really stupid choices in...
So do you think like this is a for occupation or career or whatever you want to say for people, as long as in the families aren't hurt, you'd be like, oh yeah.
If you're not hurting anybody...
So you would no regrets with regards to that. Only the fact that the regret is it's come out, and now like the potentially.
The regret is because I think it always happened anyway, and I think a lot of women have accepted that their men are cheats. But do they need the noses rubbing in it? No, they don't. Which is obviously a bit contradictory because you're doing a book. I'm doing a book because it's something I'll never escape from. It's always going to be there. And I'm kind of got a bit bored of people talking about things that they know nothing about. That annoys me. When someone constantly says something over and over again, it's a regular occurrence, and it's put a lot of things to bed. Like closure wise for me, I found the book bloody hard to do, and I've read it back obviously, and I'm like, some of it I really don't enjoy reading back at all.
Like what?
Just a lot of like personal things to do with like when I was younger and like relationships and things like that. Like, you know, when you've had a shit relationship with somebody and someone's kind of like, not even like obviously like I'd been through like physical things like that, like abuse and things like that in relationships, but it's more mental stuff. And when something's damaged you mentally, and then you're kind of rewriting it all and reading it, as much as it does help, and it does massively help, at the same time it's still very like, I question what the hell I was doing putting up with some things.
I spoke to somebody recently who's just wrote a book as well. They're going to be coming on the podcast, so I did like a chat with them, and I was telling them just like about things with me and this, that and the other, and I can't talk about certain incidents in my life. I never ever will do either, other than to people who are close to me, but even then I do not want to talk about some stuff that I'm shut down. And as I was talking to her about it, because of the nature of her book and what it's about, I was like getting all emotional and fighting it back, and she was like, Michaela, you should write a book. She said it's so therapeutic. She said it's so difficult to go over everything, but then when you've done it, like what you're saying,
it took me that long because of that.
This is closure now.
Because of what I've put in it, I've done it, and then obviously I've had people saying like, oh, you've been writing a book for 2 years and stuff, and I'm like, it's not a book that could have been rushed. it's
But
not.
when something's so personal.
Yeah,
as well,
like
isn't it?
I've read stuff back and I'm like, the stuff that's in it, I've literally only ever told my friend about probably about 8 years ago. Like I always like, which it isn't that long ago. So for me to now put it all into a book, which I've just had to do because as I've got older, I do look at things and I think I know that like it's something to do with different things like say this is what I mean, like you can tell, can't you, from when I start talking about something like this, I all of a sudden start chatting shit and I start babbling and I'm tripping over my tongue and stuff. Like as I've got older, I kind of like, I don't know, it's due to certain things that I just think I know that's part and parcel as to why I've done things, and I know that's like a lot of it's like a massive, it's a front a lot of the time as well, because you have to put a front on with certain things because people love to watch people crumble.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a massive thing, like since like coming off Big Brother and things like that, and like doing other interviews. Like my best friend hates me going on TV and things like that. She hates it. She can't bear it. She's like, I don't think, Helen, people will be happy until they see you in pieces.
The thing
Which is really
you
weird
come across
for the public.
No, and I agree with this. You come across as you're a fair game. You're all over social media. You argue back with everybody. It's like nothing affects you. And sometimes I see things and I'm like, you've not. I will understand what you're saying. I'm like, you've not said that proper. So
My deliverance is shit.
yeah. So you're not like argued your point really well when actually your point was very good. You know, but it's not come across well. And so then it sometimes just looks a bit messy. When you was on with the Jerry McCall thing, and I was like, you're actually.
That was awful.
Totally right in what you're saying.
But it all came out
But
wrong.
it come out muddled up, and so I feel like if I was there and I was you arguing with Jerry McKyle or putting my point across, it would have come across better. But you could tell you was getting like frustrated with it. And
I've been briefed wrong, so I was like,
if you sat there though, and you know. This is the thing actually what happened to me to prove this point. They asked me to go on Lorraine, and I've had 16 miscarriages, and they asked me to go on Lorraine and talk about my miscarriages. So they run me up. Now I'm like a robot. I've had 16 miscarriages. So all right, the first one I was like, oh, what the fuck? Second, third, fourth, all going on. When it got to like the sixth, I'm like, oh, I might never have kids. Then I'm a bit emotional about it. But then I had Harrison, and then I'm like thinking, oh yeah, everything's going to be fine. Then I've had loads more in between. And it comes to a point, I don't know if it was 10, 11 or 12, I don't know. But there comes to a point when I'm like, this is part of my life. I'm used to it. And I am a little bit emotionless about it. And this is what's happening. So I told them, matter of fact, what had gone on with the miscarriages. And they rung my agent back up and was like, oh, we don't want her to come on the show because we think that she's too hard and the public won't want her. I'm like, this isn't about warming to people.
Or that could actually be a massive help to women
to help.
who are
That's what I was
at
like.
home
And
and can't deal
about it. And I was like, no, well, this should give people hope. Like, at the time I was pregnant with Grace, and I'm like, I've had 16 miscarriages, but I've carried on. I've started 3 businesses throughout. I've had a son. I'm pregnant again. I've been on The Apprentice. I've gone through all of these things, all while wondering if I will actually ever have children. And I've got through it. So when somebody is on the 1st or 2nd or 3rd or 12th miscarriage, then, don't give up. You do not fucking crumble and keep going.
That's like the best example that you could ever give anyone. Like, I don't get it.
But they don't like it. The public, the producers and the agents think that you
shouldn't say this.
You need to crumble. You can't be a strong person.
People want me to, for various reasons, want me to, like, I've obviously, like, this lady that's kind of done a bit of tweaking and stuff with the book. Because obviously, if I wrote a book just by myself, people would be like, what the fuck is this? Like,
well, it is a discussion. Not very good at getting back on emails. So.
Yeah, but no, I've done a lot of it myself. But she's had to kind of tweak how I've said
the grammar
certain
and
things.
things.
Yeah, but she so when she's tweaked things and I've gone back to her, I'm like, no, that's not what I said. She's like, Helen, but you can't say you're making light of something. That's not a light topic. I went, I'm not making light of it. I went, but I'm not going to sit here and start saying like, and then this time happened and like,
yeah.
I sound like I'm trying to be a fucking victim.
Yeah.
And like some of my friends have said, I don't know why you don't just play that card. Like, why don't you just do it?
But if it's not
and I went,
you
but
and you don't
that's
want
not
that.
me. I went, like, you've got to kind of, what do? It's either, and I'm sure you'll agree because obviously you've done TV work and whatever. sometimes there is so much fakeness in that fucking world. This is why I don't have an agent. Because you kind of train.
After that incident, I don't.
You trained to say, dude, that tosspot Dan Wootton put a picture on, I fucking hate him. He put a picture on of my godson on, it was only up for a matter of minutes. And I said to my agent, I went, if he doesn't get, I was crying, I was screaming, I was that angry. Like, he said that was my son. For a start off, why are you looking for pictures of my son? So he's uploaded this picture. It was, like I said, it was only on it was on like a newspaper, the Sun, which I can't bear anyway, because they've just absolutely torn me to shreds in the past as well. But they put it on Twitter. And I said to me, so I said, I tweeted him loads of abuse. She said, delete the tweet. And then she said to me, I'll speak to the editor. I went, if that fucking picture isn't off, I said, I'm going to go in on him. I went, get that fucking picture off of my godson now. And so I started calling him a nonce. I was like, you're a fucking nonce. Why are you going through my Instagram finding pictures of my godson, you fucking pedo? And I said, and I got an email the next day. She said, I can't represent you anymore. Fine. But don't fucking upload pictures of my fucking best friend's kids, you stupid fucking pedo bastards. What are you doing?
Maybe nonce and pedo isn't erring on the side of harsh.
It was.
Slash extreme.
No,
I understand that if
like, they are my world. My best friend is my
well,
world.
I mean,
My godson is my world.
Children,
so you're talking about me as though you're calling me a hooker and you're trying to find a picture of my son.
Yeah.
What are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
Say what you like about me, be nasty, be as ruthless as you want about me, but why are you trying to find a picture of, this is Helen and her son climbing a tree back in her happier times. I was like, it's not even my kid.
Yeah.
Like, my son isn't anywhere.
Yeah, no, they just fucking move. But it is just anything for
That's
a story,
wrong.
Isn't it? So how have you found it now? You brought the book. Obviously, you did this interview with Jerry Michael, who wasn't great with you, was he? You say
he name dropped, didn't he?
What do you mean?
He's Clean's friend.
Did he say that?
He had to name drop.
I did actually watch it, but I didn't. Oh no, yeah.
Which I just thought showed him up because
Yeah.
I thought that was a bit of a bell end move. You're meant to keep that in your head because as a presenter you're meant to be like impartial, really, and you just now said that you're her friend.
And I mean, I do feel like it is obvious.
You wanted to
You're like,
just give
do
me
you not feel sorry for it? Do you know? And you're like, oh yeah, of course, but it was 10 years ago.
I know,
Now,
do you know
now
what?
this
At the
is your
point,
friend.
I'm actually got to the point now where no, I don't feel sorry for her. I actually feel sorry for people who are close to me who, you know, I've affected their lives. It's not my job to feel sorry for a stranger.
Yeah.
So, I did at the time, and I did say sorry, and I was really upset. I did say sorry to her, and I meant it. I didn't want to hurt someone. She's never done anything to me. She didn't deserve it. But the time's moved on. Do I still feel sorry for... No, I think people should just leave her alone. I genuinely don't think she's arsed. I think she's a mum who wants to concentrate on her kids, and I think she's accepted that maybe her husband is just always going to be dishonest with her. If that's her cup of tea, let her drink it and leave her alone.
Yeah.
It's no one else's business.
I know, and the thing is, everybody's like, oh, what about Clean when you're bringing out this book? But you're like, well, what about your son? They're like, what about Clean
I've
and
got
his
to, that's
kids,
what I said. I went, don't give a shit about my... When I was basically saying to him that I would lie and say, Jenny's made it all up, she's delusional. I said, we got to the room, so this is before it all came out. I said to him that I'll say it's a lie, I'll stand in court, and I'll say we got to the room and you chickened out, and we ended up having a drink with you and we got off. So I agreed to do all this, but when the book was fucking thrown his way in court, didn't hear anything from him. He just threw me to the wolves then. Even though I was agreeing to lie to his wife.
And what, so you went to court about it?
He went to court, he was trying to stop it from coming out.
Alright, and so then when you're in court, he's gone. So what
Then
did he
there's
say?
just too much evidence obviously stacked against him, and the judge basically said, no, you can't get an injunction. But I was begging for an injunction. Like, I wish, more than anything, I had footage of me going sitting in his agent's room, which I know for a fact will have been filmed. It was definitely recorded, because they probably thought I'd gone there to blackmail them. So I know it'll have been being recorded.
Yeah.
I sat down and they went, so what do you want? And I went, please stop my name from going in the paper. That's all I want. I can't afford an injunction. Because I spoke to a solicitor beforehand, who's got me out of like tiny little scrapes, and he was like, Helen, talking 50 grand. And I was like, well, I've not got 50 grand. He went, you need to go and liaise with his agents. So I was like, please stop it. Anyway, they asked me to sign this thing. Now, luckily, I had this solicitor as a friend. And he said, tell me you didn't sign that piece of paper. I said, I've not. I've asked if I can bring it away. He went, thank God. He went, they're going to throw the book at him, Helen. If she's got texts proving that you've met, they're going to throw the book at him and they're not bothered about you.
Yeah.
He went, don't sign that piece of paper. Because if you do, that means that when it does all come out, you will not be able to talk.
Yeah, and so you can never defend yourself or say your piece.
Mm.
And so then was that the point then when you stopped being an escort?
Oh no, I'd stopped well before that. I'd met.
Oh, I did all finished.
Yeah. So when I kind of let all my friendship fizzle with her, I'd met the guy that I was kind of with at the time. So that's why I kind of come away from it, because I thought, obviously I've met someone new, and I was thinking, shit, I don't want him to know that I've ever done this. And
right. And then what was he like when he found out? Did you stay going?
Look, it's actually quite funny actually.
Is it funny though, or is it just extreme again? Everything in your life is extreme, Helen. You're like, oh, it's funny this. We had a name.
I'm not arsed, he was an arsehole anyway. But he rung me up and he was like, oh, have you seen what that Jenny Thompson's done? And I was like, yeah. And he went, it's saying that there's another girl, who is it? And he listed a few other girls. And I just didn't speak. And he just went, it's fucking you, innit? And I just went, yeah. I was like, yeah. I went, but so it was like a year ago. He went, I don't fucking believe this. I was like, sorry. Sorry about me.
And then what? Did you stay together?
Yeah, stay together because Jesus Christ, the amount of crap that I did for him, like, that was at the end of the day, he was like up to all sorts, and fucking, he needed my support, he needed my finances and things like that. So we kind of just tried to put it to bed, really. It was more like he enjoyed the money that I was making from it as well. So.
And so then, right, okay, so then...
It's amazing what people accept when there's money involved.
Oh, yeah, that's scary, isn't it?
Like, my mum knew I did it. My mum knew I escorted. She asked if I could get a football shirt for my cousin. So everyone was like, oh, you came from this lovely background and all this. I'm like, fuck off. We're giving handouts all the time. She wasn't asked. She was like, I know what you're doing. And I was like, yeah, and you're still taking money off me. You want about?
Yeah.
So, like, obviously, again, like, I'm talking about someone that's ill. She's ill now. But she wasn't ill at the time when she was taking money off me.
Yeah.
People are very quick to do the whole, like, oh, your mum must have been heartbroken. I'm like, not really.
She wasn't like that.
She went shopping.
that sorted her right out.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Fantastic. So then obviously you did Big Brother, you won Big Brother, congratulations.
It's a fix, though.
Is that what it was then?
It was a fix. She's done something. She slept with the producer. I'm like, yeah, okay, because they can control it. It's totally out of their hands, like the whole that whole side of things, like the voting. They have nothing to do with the show.
Well, I mean, I don't.
Just to clear that one up.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine it'd be fixed anyway. I think you are just a character who people are like, they love you or they hate you. You are. There is never going to be somebody who's like, I can't make my mind
I don't
up.
want to be that person. I actually enjoy. I kind of get a thrill out of people not liking me anyway. Because people that don't like me are my worst nightmare kind of people anyway.
Yeah.
Like, if someone doesn't like me, it's usually because they're a liar or they're snaky. They're a shit friend. They have a hidden agenda. They're all people I couldn't be arsed with in life anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not skin off my nose. People who do like me are really on my wavelength.
Yeah, just like normal.
Yeah.
Normal folk.
Yeah.
And then now you are on with, you do eyebrows, microblading.
I don't microblade. I do I tattoo.
do you not?
No, I don't microblade. I hate microblading. I used to microblade, but I don't anymore. No, I do the actual tattooing. It's the manual tattooing.
I thought that is microblading. Will you do them
No,
lines?
no, that's microblading.
Also, what do you mean then, tattooing?
I'm against that now. So I use a tattoo gun. You do it with a tattoo gun, but with makeup.
Oh, right, what? And it's permanent?
Yeah, it's semi-permanent, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was still. You did
No,
that.
I don't do that. I don't like it.
So you've chose to go on your own, have your own business.
Yeah.
And so then let's summarise here. What advice? Our listeners are between 15 and 30.
Oh God.
What advice? I feel like I know what's going to.
You're under 18. Turn off.
What advice would you give people with regards to careers, business, self-employed, university? What would you say you have learned over all these years in a mixed career experience background?
Work hard at school and ignore people that turn around. Like I'm going through this at the moment. Like people, my son's so intelligent, and then you get morons saying to him, "I know what GCSEs aren't that important." Shut up. Like, he's intelligent, and I want him to do well. So going without derailing off that, work at school, and if you've not got the ability to do well academically, then get stuck into something like hands-on and do what you want to do. So in my opinion, as long as you're not a bum, what does it matter? If you've got drive, go and find something that you're good at. Everyone is good at something. Like, I've got a passion for eyebrows. I love eyebrows and things like that. So like, I enjoy doing it. Yeah, that's basically all. I mean, given what I've been through and stuff, I hate that. I've been on such a journey. But, like, I hate that kind of phrase, but I don't feel like I can always give advice because people...
100% you can give advice.
I
Your career choices have been a little different to others, but of course you can, because people have never been through that. People have never walked in your shoes.
If I, like, summed it all up, like, for the younger people watching, work hard at school. Schools are there for a reason. Be grateful that we have an education system that actually want you to do well. If you can do well, do well. You know, if you've got the ability to go to uni and get something under your belt, do it. Work your ass off and try and meet your potential as best as you can. People that are in the escorting world, if you want to be an escort, then be an escort. Like, there's nothing, in my opinion, there's nothing really wrong in it, because people are always going to have this kind of life anyway. Men are always going to kind of seek for that kind of arrangement, whether it's being paid or not being paid. For me, my opinion really would be, if you're not hurting anyone, then, you know, you're not hurt. Don't get me wrong, like, I don't have a problem hurting people that are arseholes. But if see how I try and be nice and then it just goes wrong. But if you're not hurting anyone, then what's the problem? And you're just getting on with your own life. And I say this to people that kind of say, I said to this woman last week who said something to me, and I was like, don't get emotional about someone else's life.
Yeah.
Like, don't waste the energy.
I actually thought, when I said what advice to have with people, the phrase I thought was going to come out your mouth is, don't be a twat. I've heard you say this a lot. But it's actually really good advice.
Stop being a twat as well. There's so many twats.
Just go on and don't be a twat. Right, okay. And so when's your book out as well, Helen?
3rd of June.
3rd of June. And you can get it on Amazon, Kindle,
Amazon, yeah. Waterstones. It's going to be on Book of the Week. So in Waterstones and... God, I'm so good at promoting shit, aren't I? I've only just put it in my bio on my fucking Instagram, for God's sake. Like,
so it's in the bio on Instagram.
Yeah, it's there if you want to buy it as well. Ignore the front cover though; they've got the wrong front cover, which is really annoying me every time I look at it. But yeah, it's available from the 3rd of June, but you can pre-order it. And for those people that hate me, it's doing really well.
Yes.